Hello there, welcome back to Rome. So, last time I decided that fighting Venice wasn't really in my best interest, because of the simple fact that, well, I would take too much aggressive expansion. So what I went for doing here instead is actually going for a war against France, just trying to block them off here, just trying to cut everything in two. Again, I will most likely end up creating a coalition here consisting of Iberia and potentially France and Burgundy, which is going to be a hard nut to crack. But again, just hard, not impossible. We can live with that. And the goal here is actually to, I think, either A, release a nation that I can then vassalize peacefully, like for instance I did with Croatia here. And Croatia, we're probably going to use them to our advantage here, going for most likely a war against Hungary. In order to get, for starters, it will give us a very easy way to get a truce with Burgundy, which is wonderful. And again, I'll have to see what I do. If I force the release of instance, let's just drop these for a second. If we force the release of, let's see again, for instance, that would just be too big of a nation for me to control. Toulouse, on the other hand, could be helpful, but again, I'm a little bit unsure. They're already 11, 14. The 20 base tax is going to be kind of harsh. So I think I'm going to take my chances here with a potential coalition and just go for taking control of the land myself. It's going to be costly on my admin points, of course, but it should, in theory, be fine. I might also, as I said, wait with ending the war until I actually have the aggressive expansion minus 20%, so I have 40% total. That could definitely be helpful. But as you can see, France is definitely getting its ass kicked by both me and Burgundy, so we can definitely be happy with the fact that they are more or less soundly beaten already. But yeah, we'll have to see how that works. There was also a question as to why my capital was in Lombardia. The reason why my capital is currently in Lombardia is so that I could secure or make sure that I actually became a part of the Holy Roman Empire. Now, I'm Orthodox, so they hate my guts anyways, but it's basically so that I won't have to fight the, well, Austria with allies every single time that I wanted to go through a conquest in Italy. Now, granted, in this situation, that didn't actually occur. I thought I would just take a smaller area here, but I ended up taking a, well, taking a larger approach and completely forgot to, to move my capital back to Rome. So that is basically why. I'll probably move my capital during the game. I don't see any reasons why I would not. So yeah, that is most likely going to happen. So don't worry about that. We just have to destroy the Holy Roman Empire first. So yeah, can only be one Roman Empire. So for the time being, I'll just sit back, allow the sieges to continue. If there's any battles, I'll show you, but as you might imagine, I'm pretty sure from here on out it's just very easy, just a waiting game more or less. And of course it's going to be interesting to see what Burgundy does and if there pops up any English rebels. So yeah, I'll just sit back and we'll see what happens here. Navarre is also a very interesting piece of this puzzle, if you will, because they do have a considerable, they have a very good position, and I'm going to have to fight them to get to where I want to be. Now again, as you can see, Castile is allied with Aragon and Portugal. And that means that I will probably have to declare war on Provence and then allow Castile to call in their own allies, and then I'll have to fight both Portugal and Castile. And again, in Navarre will definitely be the linchpin then. And I definitely need to get Aragon in on my side if I want that to work. So there is that. We're going to take claim fabrication here. Time to fabricate claims minus 30%. So it goes a lot faster, less risk. I probably should have taken or switched these two around just to get myself a little bit of a stronger army. But yeah, basically everything else here, or most of everything else, is focused on battle power, if you will. So that's fairly alright. Now I think with this we can just sit back and see what happens, because as you can see the northern land here is definitely under Burgundy's control. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. But a peace with France is going to be a very weird one, because I think I'm going to have to do something like this. And again, as you can see, that brings me far over my overextension, well, pool, if you will. So I think I might have to do this instead. Or potentially this, just to make the maps look a little bit prettier. But I think I might do this, just so I can actually get to Navarra. And 22 aggressive expansion is quite a bit here, and as you can see, it will mostly go to Burgundy and France, but also Castile, Savoy. So after this, I can only conquer westwards until I have sorted that out, and then I can start beating on France/Burgundy, depending on who's left in charge here. But I'm also, as I said here, very tempted to take La Bourde, just because it will make it kind of easier to separate the borders, and potentially I might force a release of a nation or two, but I don't see any good reason to do that. So with that said, that is probably the deal that we are going to make. I don't think I need any troops in my homeland. I would at the very least think so. And we also have a call to peace here, so I will not be getting that extra deal, if you will. So that is a little bit too bad here, but not too much I can do about that. So as you can see, I do have the diplomatic points now to make the deal, so there's no reason not to. This is the best thing I'm going to get out of this anyways. So we're just going to go ahead, fire that up. And again, yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting to see here who joins the coalition. France hates my guts, but Burgundy is the one that actually took the brunt force of that, which is interesting to note. But it's going to definitely be interesting to try and core everything in. As you can see, I can't actually core La Bourde because it's just so far away. But I am going to fabricate claims on Navarra and take them down right away, because Navarra is kind of an important actor on the stage here, if you will. So taking them out will definitely be helpful to my cause here. And again, I will most likely use Provence as my guinea pig here, in order to get myself into war with Castile. I might go ahead here and just declare war without actually taking anything else than Granada, just getting a Granada back as a vassal potentially. That could be something that I will do, but it very well remains to be seen now. But we have at least made our very first conquest in in the border region, so that's fine. France is now destroying the Pope. I don't see. Sorry, is the France destroying the Pope, or is the Pope destroying France? Yeah, the Pope is actually attacking France. Wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting. But yeah, for the time being, we'll just sit back. We'll do an upgrade to our military attack. Combat width increased by 2, infantry shock by 0.15, men-at-arms, longbow, and Galilee infantry upgrades, which are very, very useful. So let's just go ahead and upgrade to the longbows right away, I think. I'm missing a diplomatic guy, and we're going to keep missing a diplomatic guy because I need the money, and we're very much going to declare war here right away. Navarra is on their own, so it's kind of perfect setup or set of circumstances, this one. And again, it will give me a very easy access to Spain itself, so I have no qualms about declaring war here. And again, I definitely need to keep Aragon as an ally here, because if I can't, then I think I might get into trouble in terms of conquering Hispania. And we also need to go after Portugal pretty soon, because they colonize really, really fast, which is a bad thing. So I definitely need to cripple them more or less at once, and I might actually have to take exploration ideas here. You basically have to take exploration ideas as a colonial nation here, I figured out, because if you do not take those ideas, then you basically end up in a very troubling situation where you have where you can't actually, you'll have to declare war, you can't see anything. So exploration ideas might be my second idea set here, and unfortunately they can't be because of the fact that I have influence ideas, and influence ideas, again, it blocks that exploration here. I can't pick another idea group in this category right now. At most 50% of my idea groups may be in the same category, so I'll have to take a military idea next, just so I can continue with that admin point and not waste the points that I've already used in influence here. If I do, I'll get 80 points back, but I don't think I want to at this stage. There is no real benefit from doing that, and that is basically what I'm getting at here. Well, I get income and subject force contribution, wonderful. But yeah, as I was saying, there's no real benefit from well, abandoning the idea group right now. And worst case scenario, Portugal will have a couple of colonial nations that I can just smack down in the night, if you will. So that should also be very, very easy. But for the time being, we'll just wait until these 3 calls are done. Then I'll annex Navarra, and then we might start our conquest of Spain here. But again, if I can just get kick Portugal out of Spain, if you will, or the area, then I'll have some islands that will probably be turned into their capital, and as long as they can't place their capital in New World, I'm safe. But I definitely need to, as I said, go to New World and kick their ass more or less ASAP. I also need to get up to England, kick their ass more or less ASAP. So I'm probably just going to be securing the borders here, border region, and I'm probably going to secure the border region here, and then we're going after England, it seems. And again, we're just going to try and get patriarch autonomy, because as you can see, it gives missionary strength, it gives unrest, local unrest -3 when it's full. Get also, as you can see, plus 2% to missionary strength. We lose 33% of our taxes, but we gain 33% manpower. And again here, that should be perfectly alright for our intents and purposes. So our truces with Venice and its vassals are over. There we go. Navarra has been annexed. And again, I can't really call this because it's just too far away. But I can do now, so no worries in that aspect or regard. But yeah, I definitely need to take a military set of ideas next. That is just how things are going to have to be, unfortunately. And with that, I think we can focus on admin tech, because we need to rush admin tech here pretty severely. And since we're going to be conquering a lot of land ourselves, we need to be able to core them, which of course also requires well, administrative tech, unfortunately. But for the time being, we'll just leave things as they are. I think we do have a war here that we will wage against these guys, and I'm a little bit unsure if I want to make Castile a co-belligerent. What I think I will do here is probably take some land down here south, probably, and then we will just release Granada as a vassal. They'll hopefully be an Orthodox vassal, which would be wonderful, and then we can just feed them Castile and Portuguese lands, and then we can all be happy. I hope, at least. So we'll have to see how that goes. But France has definitely been crippled here. Burgundy took a fairly large chunk of land. They actually took something from... No, they didn't. They just took a lot of land. That's just how it is. But that works perfectly well. Burgundy is actually interested in an alliance with me, and I want that alliance. I want that, because Burgundy isn't really the country you'd see colonizing everywhere. And as they're doing now with a lot of conquests, they could potentially be a... They could potentially be a very, very strong ally here. Who are they currently at war with? Oh, they're at war with everyone. So they actually got a coalition then, I would presume. Or Austria decided to kick their ass, who knows. Yeah, they got a coalition against them for the conquest in France, so that is perfectly right. I guess I'll just improve relations and then see what I'll want to do with them once the war is over. I think that is the best course of action from here. And I think... yeah, we're just going to upgrade here. Admin Tech 5, Constable and Temples. I can now build temples and a constable. Both are, well, fairly useful buildings. And as you see, Burgundy, Hungary, Aragon will join in, which will give me some cover here. So yeah, I think we're just going to declare war here. I'm pretty sure that my 32,000 men here will be enough. Hopefully, I'll be moving these guys back to our lands to actually just siege Provence itself for taking war score. I'll be moving them back, and again, it's basically my sieging squad here, so that should work just fine. And we don't want to call Castile in as a co-belligerent, not yet, anyways. And the funny thing here is, if I play my cards right, oh, Castile is no longer down with Provence and Aragon. I might want to call them in as a co-belligerent, actually. Yeah, I really might want to. Let's see, how many... I have 2 diplomatic relations. If I take Galicia in the north and take Granada in the south, then everything is more or less set here for me starting to do a lot of conquest. I think we'll do that. I think that will work very well. Now again, in Croatia, I'll kind of just have to wait, because they're kind of in a very useful spot, all things considered. But again, they have to wait here. But we'll call in Castile as a co-belligerent, and... let's see here. Aragon joined in on my side. That was basically the only thing I was a little bit concerned about, but they did. And with that, this is definitely one. If I can have the Aragonese on my side as well, then we definitely have the upper hand. Basically, troop counts too. Provence is getting some war exhaustion, which is neat. And yeah, as long as I can just siege the province capital, they'll get some more war score. And again, I don't need to hold the capital for too long. That's basically, again, one of the gists of this strategy. And due to the fact that we actually do have a lot of military power, or will have a lot, I can get myself a general, which will be helpful. And let's just take this because we can. Missionary strength plus 2%, and diplomatic annexation cost minus 25%. This war might rage long enough for me to actually get the fourth idea here, but in this area here it won't really matter too much because there's not too many people getting pissy. In this area, on the other hand, you basically have people getting pissy everywhere, so it's a little bit different, but should be perfectly and completely capable of handling that. Now, can I get there in time? I could not. Do I want to take a chance on attacking them with a army the same size? I think I do, because they have morale damage here, and I'm also a tech ahead of them. So if I can just destroy that army now, that would be very much helpful. They're actually running to Galicia, it seems like. Well, let's just fall back for now. Let's just destroy their manpower and then work from there. I think that works wonderfully well as well. And again, the goal for this will be Galicia and Andalusia and Granada, I think. Again, it will not be too much. It won't, and the goal behind it is basically that if I take that, it won't give me a age-long truce, and that is basically, again, one of the gists. And we're actually going to win this war, or win this battle, pretty much substantially, which is wonderful. And we can actually split this in two, just to get a little bit more extra sieging capabilities up and running. Do I want to challenge this army? I think I do. I should probably get in a general though. There we go. Just keep on harassing until they can't fight back anymore. Point of our borders. Sure, we'll go for start at the borders. We should have a far easier time beating a 1,000 man unit than we have there. It's basically, yeah, Yep, we will join up. I'll send this army back home to rest, and I'll send the other one to destroy. Although it didn't really get much rest, it ended up straight in battle. And it's actually losing that battle. So let's just go over there and rest. But yeah, I'll be using, again here, trying to save manpower as much as I can. I'll probably rely on mercenaries again, but yeah, for the time being, I'll just sit back here and we'll see what happens. I just need to siege Granada, Andalusia, and Galicia, and then I'll be getting what I want here. So we'll leave it here. Thank you for watching. Please have a comment, praise, criticism, anything you feel like, and hopefully, what the hell happened to Burgundy? So yeah, this area is already being very, very weird. Burgundy, I am no longer interested in an alliance with you. You didn't have a chance to core anything. But yeah, this is going to be kind of fun. France is already dismantled. We have a free campaign. Things are just going wild here. I'll see you next time. Bye.